briefly introduce you to Serra de Estrela and its PDO cheese. Just for some very brief context, Serra de Estrela is located in Cordillera Central, which is a mountain range that extends between Portugal and Spain for 700 kilometers. And even though only about 1/4 of it's located in Portugal, it's actually one of the most important mountain areas in mainland Portugal due to its mass and altitude. It has the highest point in continental Portugal with 1900 meters in altitude. And it's also influenced by three types of climate, continental, Atlantic, and Mediterranean. And so it's also nature park, and it has one of the most or the best well-preserved glacier valleys in Portugal. So it's also a geopark. Here in the map, we have in yellow the PDO area, which we'll talk a little bit more further down. In blue, it's our reference landscape, so the smaller area where we have been working, and the just little blue line, it's the natural park area, just for a little bit of so the cheese is made from a native breed, the Serra de Estrela. Sorry, I have another colleague in a meeting in the same room as I am. I don't know if you can hear crossed voices, but hopefully mine is the prevalent one. And so, how I was saying, the cheese is made from milk from native breeds, Serra de Estrela. These are milk breeds which are they produce a little bit less than other more competitive ones like Lancôme, but they have a higher fat content, so you need less milk to make the cheese. And the cheese is exclusively made from these breeds, Serra de Estrela and Churramão de Gana, but Serra de Estrela is the prevalent one, so I'll be focusing on them. It uses raw milk, which is curded with thistle, these little purple flowers that you can see in the bottom of my presentation. And it's an artisanal product, so only France is allowed in the manufacturing process. Then it's curated for 120 days, and the final product is this very creamy, delicious cheese. It's one of the most better known cheeses in Portugal and one of the most expensive ones. It's been certified since 1996, although there are registers from or about it since the 13th century. It used to be only sold in 1 kilo, but then there was a revision to the specifications, and now you can also sell half kilo, because otherwise it can be quite expensive. And there's also the aged version of it, where if you cannot sell everything, you can allow it to age a little bit longer, and it's another option for you to sell. And there's also the curded cheese, also certified. Are you still seeing my presentation? I'm a bit confused with my two screens. I'm gonna assume yes. Yes. So what has the certification been doing for the territory? I think it's no secret that the number of sheep in general, or at least in Portugal, have been decreasing in the last couple of decades. And we can see here in the table that we have the total amount of sheep, and then the Serra de Estrela, it's the SE milk sheep. And we've been seeing that it almost halved the total amount of sheep between 1999 and 2019. This is the total amount of sheep in the study area, so in the PDO region. And also the number of border sheep, they decreased, but it increased in relative importance. So now they represent 27% of the total sheep in the area. Here in the bottom, you can see that the number of registered milk sheep, they declined sharply in 2006, between 2006 and 2017, but then they have remained relatively stable. The same is true for the number of farms. But it appears that the number of milk producers registered for the PDO, or that they can sell the milk for the PDO cheese, has increased. And you can also see that the cheese production, although a little bit erratic, it seems that it has been going up since 1997 till 2020. But not everything is good. The price of the cheese has remained relatively stable. So we can see that it didn't change much between 2002 to 2020. There was a slight increasing tendency that was halted mainly due to the pandemic. So people also saw their buying means lowering. So this is considered a luxury cheese. So they also were buying less cheese. And here we have a very interesting map, in my opinion. So again, in blue, we have the natural park area. In green, I hope you can see it. Please? Yeah, we have our regional or reference landscape. And in gray, we see the pasture areas, and they're located almost in the low altitudes and not so much in the high altitude areas. And also the black dots, they are where the cheese factories are. So they're, of course, all within the PDO demarcated region, but not so much in the altitudes areas. So what's been happening right now is that there's a big investment in marketing. So there's been some kind of organization in the selling strategy and having a uniform branding strategy in order to have a stronger marketplace. There's also been investment in the internationalization of this cheese. And recently there has been an effort to develop the related products to the value chain, so lamb and wool, which were quite developed back in the past. Okay. But as we've seen, we think this is not enough, because although it is within the demarcated region, there seems to be some kind of dissociation from the altitude territory, which is traditionally the most marginal land. So we also think that it should be needed, or it's needed to create incentives for high altitude grazing. And this would require the articulation of the different entities that operate in the territory. So the national park, the municipalities, the National Forestry Institution, common associations, breeders associations, to really capitalize on shrubing, shrub control, and also an organization of production. I didn't mention, but it's, I think, quite relevant to say that this was one of the areas that burned the most last year. There were 26,000 burned hectares, 10,000 of them in the national park. And this because there has been a lot of shrub encroachments where in areas that previously were pastures. And that is the end. Thank you.